Thank you. Hello and welcome back to the She Lives Purposefully podcast. My name is Megan. I am so thankful you're here. I am here with my husband Donnie today, and if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, you saw that he just served me mate, which is a traditional Argentine drink.
Yerba mate. Right?
Yerba mate. And today we are talking about, in part, our Argentina. Our recap. And we're also going to be talking about Easter. So it's going to be a good, fun episode.
Yeah. And this is interesting because everywhere you go in Argentina, there's people drinking this. They have their thermos, which we have here.
Shout out Stanley. Feel free to sponsor.
Still waiting for that sponsorship.
Feel free to sponsor the podcast.
It's funny. They have like a Messi sponsored, Stanley, because there's murals of Messi everywhere down there.
We're just as big as Messi, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
We haven't heard from them yet.
Must have gotten the junk mail. But yeah, there's the gourd, and you have like this chopped up leaves, and then the little straw. And you share it, someone pours it, you go back and forth. I'd never known that was a thing until I started dating Meg and they were drinking it. And it's like a very strong green tea is how I would describe the taste.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good description.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be talking about our Argentina recap today. Like I said, a little bit about Easter too. Transparently, just with all the travel that we've been doing, I didn't necessarily plan out like an Easter episode. So we're going to be, talking about Easter and including it, but I don't have like a whole episode on Easter necessarily planned, but I am excited for this Argentina recap. We're talking about obviously the different things that we did, experienced, saw, something specifically that I feel like was a little God wink for me. So I'm excited to talk about it.
It's our first time traveling with little Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
That was brand new because we're, up until this point, it's just been us and whoever else on vacation, but having an 8-month-old is
he turned 8 months.
The day before we left, I think.
The day we left.
We
took the photo like literally walking out the door with our suitcases, basically.
So anyway, that was definitely a factor. But yeah, it was great. You gonna jump right into it?
Yeah, let's jump.
March 25th. JFK Airport, New York. Nearly midnight. Yeah, the plane rides I think were the toughest part.
100%.
Traveling with little Danito. So the plane rides themselves are weird times. So his whole bedtime routine was totally thrown out the window. But he honestly did better than we thought he was going to. But actually on the plane itself was tough because he did not want to leave you. He wanted to be on you the whole time.
Yeah, so basically for takeoff and landing, I would nurse, because I feel like I chew gum so that my ears don't pop. And I've just read that nursing really helps with babies so their ears don't pop. So I was nursing. And then which was great is that he fell asleep.
Yeah.
But then even when I would stop nursing and he was asleep, he would literally know if I gave him to my mom, to Donnie, even to anyone. And so basically not the whole time. There was I feel little chunks of time where
half an hour or something.
Yeah, where he would let me pass him to somebody. But for the majority of the flight, and these flight, it was an 18-hour travel day. Because it was
Crazy.
A connecting flight. Straight through, I think it's about 10 hours. 9-10 hours.
Straight through from, if we were...
JFK to Buenos Aires.
Yeah.
But we had a connecting flight. But anyway, so basically for the flights, I was just holding him the whole time, not sleeping.
Yeah.
So it was rough.
So yeah, we left at midnight and Meg didn't sleep, really. Maybe she had a half-hour nap or two, but didn't sleep for the next 18 hours or something.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And it was similar on the way back.
Yeah. And the plane was so hot. We had him stripped down to his diaper and he was still sweating a little bit.
Yeah. And I feel before planes used to be so cold, and I think that the PR teams of planes took that information and ran with it, but then they made it a sauna. And they were oh, everybody wants it to be a sauna, and we don't. We just want it to be normal temperature.
That's funny. Yeah, that's how it felt like every plane ride we took. It was extra hot. But too, like, it feels like you're carrying a ticking time bomb because if he starts crying, you're packed in like sardines on this, containment vessel. So there's no place to escape if you start screaming his head off.
Mm-hmm.
And when he would, like, I don't know, he felt so self-conscious because there's all these people trying to sleep around you and you're trying to, calm down a crying baby. And that was very different. It's funny, like one of those things after having kids,
From before
you're like, oh,
I'm your baby. Ugh.
Yeah. And now if I see that happening, or if I just see people with kids in the airport in general, I'm like, you are a champion.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're a rock star. It's hard. But it was awesome because her family came. So her mom, dad, and sister, they were amazing. They were such a huge help.
So
I really don't know
helpful.
what we would have done without them. It would have been extra hard.
Yeah, I really don't know. Because then during the layovers at the airport and stuff, like my mom was able to put him to sleep with, the announcements going on. And we're used to also like, I guess I'll just say like the Lord makes a way when there is literally no way, because he is used to napping like with me, contact napping in a dark room, white noise in his nursery. Right. And here we are, like super white lights, airport, announcements going over, everybody's talking. Like it's just
chaos.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Chaos. But he was such a champ. He was amazing. He was amazing. I seriously was just Jesus.
Yeah, it was awesome. That he, again, I thought it was going to be a lot worse. It was still hard. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. But yeah, he did well.
He was a champion.
Yeah. So then in Buenos Aires, amazing country, or I always do that. You know what we've been doing actually? I've been saying, so when we were in Italy, thinking of Argentina,
we keep calling it Italy
because there's such a strong Italian presence. Like
it's very, similar in a lot of ways.
Half the names are Italian. The names of the cities are Italian. Some of them, a lot of cultural roots in Italy. But when we were there in the country.
Sorry, just a really late afterthought. Some of my family's from Italy. I feel like that was like a delayed like when you watch a movie with like subtitles or something, or like it's like the dubbed voice over, like it's
where their mouth
language.
moves and you're like
yeah 20 seconds
then the
later.
audio comes through.
That's I feel like what happened. But it just in my brain. But yeah, some of my family, like my great grandparent is from Italy, speaking just of Italian influence in Argentina.
Yeah, because that's on your mom's side. Yeah, so your dad's last name, your last name was Holmes.
Yeah,
very British, very English. But on your mom's side, it's like very Italian last names, right?
Well, yeah, actually, yes, it is. I guess it depends. So like my mom's maiden name is very Russian Polish.
Wait,
because her dad's parents were from I think Russia and Poland.
Of your grandmom's side.
Yes, but so my grandmom's maiden name is more Italian.
Yeah.
Because her dad was from Italy.
Yeah. Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
I love it.
Yeah. You're a cool mix of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can I say? But very Italian influence.
Very Italian influence. And I feel like the culture, I don't know, it feels like the emphasis on family, eating together, extended families living close to each other. Everyone walks and rides bikes everywhere.
Yeah. And just jumping off of that, I know it's different per family and per city, but for example, when we were further south, so where we stayed most of the trip was a town called Neuquén, and that is in northern Patagonia. And so a lot of my mom's side lives there. And we'll go to one cousin's house where we're staying and we're like, oh, hold on, let me
taking a little
sip. And then we're like, oh, where does, my aunt live? And they're like, oh, a couple blocks this way, and it's everybody. Oh, how about my other cousin? A couple blocks this way. Like everyone's very close, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Big family dinners.
Yeah. And super hospitable. We were blown away with the hospitality of everyone. So we stayed with her cousin, and she was amazing. Like she has a 9-month-old.
Yeah.
So it was really kind of funny. Like Donnie and Kala were like playing together the first time. Like he was interacting with another baby. I feel like.
Yeah,
And
like
it was,
playing,
yeah,
living with. Yeah.
like it was really interesting to watch. But all that to say is your cousin, she had all this baby stuff, all this baby food.
And
So she would prepare stuff for Danito. And then, you know, she gave us all sorts of stuff for the room. It was like amazing. And yeah.
Yeah, I'll say too, Donito, that's what we call Donnie, little Donnie. It means in Spanish, just in case. I don't know if we've explained
I switch
that
back
before.
and forth.
Yeah. But just in
Okay.
case.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she had gifts for him and things like playmat that she bought for him to use, you know, in our room. And yeah, like all the food was his and everything. It just was like shared. And just in general, they were so hospitable.
Yeah.
Really, you know, people say like,
Mi
make
casa,
yourself
su
at
casa.
home. Yeah, mi casa, su casa. But it really
She
was.
really, and we took over.
We really did.
Because it was us and then your mom, dad, and sister. Like we were like taking up the whole house, and they were not bothered at all. It seems like
No.
and it really was like a check. Like, wow, I don't know. For me, like it just made me think, man, if anyone were to come over and stay with us, I want to be just like that. Like
Totally.
I want to lay out the red carpet for them. I want them to feel so welcome. And I feel like that's a very biblical thing.
Yeah.
Were you thinking that?
Yeah, I think just the hospitality, and we'll tell you about another couple too that we stayed with later, but I think across the board was so selfless. And yeah, like you said, rolling out the red carpet, it feels like for us. And I think a lot of times, you know, if somebody were to come stay, a lot of times, and maybe it's our culture, I don't know, we could just be like, you know, they're there, but we're not changing anything for them.
Yeah.
Necessarily. Like, oh, we gave you a place to stay. Awesome. We're so great. Like, you know, but really like it totally changes. So hospitable. I really feel like it's just the gift of hospitality, like exemplified. And it was very convicting. I agree, for me to be more hospitable, be more selfless. And I don't know if I want to say that this is even spiritual too, but like holding less of my schedule so tightly that I can be open to doing things for,
quote unquote.
Right. Like we were inconveniences, quote unquote, like being open to doing what the Lord would have me do and like loving other people really well. That's it. Like they were just so loving.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it reminds me of like those stories in the Bible where, you know, an apostle or Jesus will travel to a city and they'll like beg him to stay and like, you know, or in the Old Testament, I think when God visits Abraham and he's like, please, like he runs out, let me bake, you know, bread for you. Let me prepare stew for you. Like it's very, yeah.
Sarah.
yeah.
Let me,
Sarah will get right on that.
No, but yeah.
But anyway, so that definitely stood out.
To just on the theme of hospitality, we went to Buenos Aires. So we landed in Buenos Aires. We went pretty much almost immediately to Patagonia, and then we went back to Buenos Aires and stayed a couple days there. And there we stayed with family friends who are actually, so they both have jobs, like really successful jobs. They're just very successful people. It's very impressive.
Do you want to say the jobs, or do you know?
Well, the wife works in Congress, right?
I thought it was the Treasury.
Oh,
wait,
maybe something
in
the government.
big dealing with money in the government.
And then the husband basically runs the nation's bank, which is like crazy.
Yeah, I feel like.
In short, I feel.
I feel like it's a good. He manages the bank, the branch.
Yeah,
I think.
And it's the
of the capital of the country.
Right. So it's huge.
He's very high up.
But he also is a pastor, which is so cool. Like, and I think that was just convicting too, of like you can be doing so, like just having like he has this job and you have a family and so many things going on and you're still serving in that kind of way. It was really beautiful to see. But two, they, you know, again, like just were so selfless and so loving with us and allowed us to come stay there and, you know, made asado for us, which is like, you know, the steak that Argentina is so known for, and like just provided so many things for us. And then two, so the last day that we're supposed to be in Argentina, there was a strike that was happening.
A massive
like protest,
hundreds of thousands.
I have no idea.
Lots,
to be honest.
Lots of people.
In Buenos Aires. And so this family that we were staying with lives literally in the center of the capital, like downtown.
Yeah.
Which is where this protest was supposed to be, basically.
They're I don't know how many blocks, maybe 5 or 10 blocks from Argentina's White House, which is called Casa Rosada, which is the pink house, which is funny.
Yeah, so they live very, they're in the center of it all. And so basically the idea was that we would not be able to leave the country if we did not leave the city before the protest started, because they block off roads, like it's a whole
bridges.
It's crazy. You literally can't leave the city. And the airport that we were going to be at was right outside of like center city.
And everything shuts down.
Everything shuts down. So day before, it's like, oh, this protest is happening. So at midnight that night, this couple is driving us an hour out of the city to another house that they have. But like, again, they're going to be driving an hour one way, an hour back. It's midnight. They have work the next day. It just is so selfless.
Yeah.
They provide this other house for us. They're there getting us set up. They didn't just drop us off. Like, they were just so amazing. Yeah.
It felt like a movie where we were like getting, what's that word? Like, extracted out of a dangerous situation by like some undercover CIA operative. Right. Like, oh, there's a big protest in the city. We got to get you out of here now, or else we won't be able to. But yeah, super selfless. Again, blown away. And it's, again, like he has a huge job. I'm sure he's got a lot of things on his mind.
And they have kids.
They have 4 kids. Ranging from 10 to 20, so all sorts of needs there. And they just made so much time for us. They made sure we were like taken care of in any way. Yeah. It was amazing.
So I do just want to reiterate, I think it really felt, it was such a good reminder and even convicting. I think I can feel like, oh, I'm so swamped. I just feel so overwhelmed. But they had so much on their plate, yet they weren't overwhelmed. It really, I think, was just like a living example of just letting the Lord be your strength. And they're just doing all the things out of like the outpouring of what God has filled them up with. And they're just like loving and doing and nonstop. And they have time and capacity for all of it. And it was really amazing.
Yeah.
So shout out to Argentina.
Shout out to Argentina, man.
For being so hospitable.
Yeah. Everyone was great.
Okay, what else do we want to talk about?
I was going to say, briefly, we should talk about the different culture.
Yeah.
So I'm
more used to this, so I feel like, you should speak on it.
This was crazy. Well, sorry, let me be respectful. This was very different. So I'm used to, let me pour you some.
There's no some,
okay.
It's full.
I noticed this when we went to Italy a couple of years ago too. When you go out to breakfast, on the menu, there would be something called the American breakfast. And it was the biggest meal on the menu because I guess Americans have just some reputation for having huge breakfasts and meals, I guess. But it was a similar situation here where in the morning, people would just drink mate and maybe a piece of toast. But really, that's it. Maybe, yeah. They really don't eat breakfast. And I think it's because, this is my theory, it's because shoro mate, there's something in it that kind of suppresses your appetite a little bit. So the whole country is on like a appetite suppressor. We were joking. They're pretty much on Ozempic. Yeah, the whole country's on Ozempic, basically. But it's like, no wonder they're not hungry. And then, they have lunch. And I feel like that's a normal meal. Mm-hmm. Like normal for us, like in quantity and size. But then they don't eat again until 9, 10, maybe. Yeah, so what they do have, it's called merienda, I think it's called. And that is around what would be like our dinner time, a little earlier. So it's like between 3 and 5 o'clock. But that is really like snacky. And at least where we were at, it was very sweet driven. So yes. Like pastries, things like that. Yeah. And then you're right. Yeah. Dinner was literally like 9 or 10 o'clock was the norm. So late. Like we're in bed 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. And they're like, setting out the plates and silverware. And then, they stay up and talk and it's like 11, 12 people are going to bed. Mm-hmm. Very different. And mind you also like we're navigating that with the baby. I think by ourselves, it feels yes. very fun. I'm sure, you know what I mean? But then just navigating bedtime, I feel like it was a journey. Yeah. But he was such a champ, like the whole way through. Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was. But anyway, very different.
I think one thing I will say about that, I really do like not dinner that late. 9 or 10 is really late. And I think because we like to get up early, we really, love our sleep, especially because we're not really getting any right now. But I do like having dinner a little bit later because I think it kind of ensures that the whole family is eating together. Like everybody's home from whatever they're doing. And I think it allows you to kind of slow it down, like have a slow cooked meal that you made. You didn't just like throw this together after work, and allows people to really gather and sit. So I kind of like that because I think we eat dinner kind of earlier.
We do.
So yeah. I like it having it a little bit later.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was very different, but it was, yeah. And it's like, no wonder they take siestas because like in some places, I guess this is more of an older tradition. I don't know if it still happens as much,
but it does still happen
where people take off from like 3 to 5.
I want to say it's a little earlier, like 2 to 4, maybe. I don't know.
They take a little break in the middle of the day to, nap.
And practically, so we went to, if you know my testimony, a huge part of it is my grandmom and just how she died and how the Lord healed me through that. I have episodes on that. But we were able to go visit the house that she lived in. And, part of the house that my mom grew up in for some time. And we were able to go see that and visit her town. And in her town, it's a small town. It's really, really cute.
It is.
I'm obsessed. I love it.
It's a very cute town.
And in that town, they still do siesta. So when the time that we got there, like all the shops were closed. So practically it really does look like shops are closing down. People are not working for like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Bring that over here.
Yeah, work-life balance,
Yeah. Something else that was different was the driving. So I remember the first day we were there, we were with your cousin. He's driving us to one of the rivers in the city. And I noticed he's not really, we'd call it a rolling stop. Like he will come up to an intersection and he'll kind of like roll through it and then keep going. And I noticed he was doing that because there weren't any stop signs. And so I was trying to say in Spanish. My Spanish, I learned, is horrible. I thought I was pretty decent in this trip. I was like, wow, I don't know anything. So I was really relying on you and your family to help with all the translation.
You did good. It was hard.
It's made me want to like get on a regimen or like a lesson plan or something. Anyway, so I ask him like, where are all the stop signs? And they really don't have a lot of stop signs. Like I think some intersections had it, like the important ones had it. Mm-hmm. But anywhere in the U.S., you come up to an intersection, there's a stop sign or something there.
It could feel pointless even. You're like,
it
why
could
is
feel
there
very
one here?
right, but it's there. And apparently it's like it was very weird. Like if there was multiple people coming up to an intersection at the same time, it seemed like there was a mutual understanding of who was supposed to go, and I couldn't decode it for the longest time. It felt like they had flipped a coin and like had agreed on it and then kept going. But I learned later that it was whoever you yield to the person on your right. Is that right?
I know that we learned it. I don't remember what it was. Okay. Yeah, but so I remember hearing it.
If like you're approaching an intersection and like to your left there is someone else approaching, you have the right of way, I think. I don't know. It's still a mystery. I kind of liked it, to be honest, because I really, driving in the U.S. and having to like come to a full, I mean, we don't.
Full wink.
Having supposed to come to a full stop at every intersection just feels like stop, go. Where there, it's like, oh, there's no one there. Let's keep going. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say pedestrians have no right of way.
That was crazy.
That's very different, which I kind of like having
here.
Like if you cross the street, people are going to stop. In Argentina, you hope they're going to stop.
Yeah.
But I did like kind of just the rolling through to those intersections. But that was different too. Anything else you can think of? Those are the two that come to mind.
Culturally?
Yeah. The driving, the food, the breakfast, the meal situation.
I mean, we mentioned before, I think it is just like a very family base.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would be fun to talk about that you're going to love to talk about? I am beyond used to it, so I feel like I was just unsure. Like, not unsure, it just didn't faze me at all. Is greeting each other with a kiss very biblical? Very biblical. Straight out of a command from, not a command.
One of the epistles, they say, greet the brethren with a holy kiss.
And they do in Argentina, which we know this because my dad is a pastor for our Spanish service at our church. However, I think at least up until this point, you had not seen like a man greeting another man with a kiss.
No
especially
way.
if they don't know them.
Yes, that was very different.
And so in Argentina, everybody is like kissing everybody, and it's not like an actual kiss. It's like a air kiss on the cheek. Like,
yeah,
you just make the sound.
Yeah, your cheeks touch, and you do a little sound.
Yeah,
that's it.
But you do it with everybody. So my cousins he's meeting for the very first time, like
your male cousins, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So so that was something new with dating you and marrying you, like with your family. I know like female to female, you do a greeting with your family or other people in the Spanish service. Male to female, you do that too. I was not, like you were saying, expecting male to male. So I meet her two guy cousins in Buenos Aires for the first time, and I stick out my hand like any American would.
Well, I'm gonna say it.
Sore
Argentina
subject.
is part of America.
Yeah. All right.
Anyone from the U.S.
Yes. Any one of them would.
The little hee.
And they kind of take it and pull me in. I'm like, okay, we're going for a hug. I'm on board.
I hope they're listening. The cousins they understand English, so this will be fun.
And the head comes in, and I hear, and I'm like, what? That I was not expecting. That happened. So I should say, the first time I came in, and it was like an awkward hand thing. I got pulled in, and it was like a hug, and I was like, oh, that was interesting. He didn't shake my hand
because he was going for something else. Yeah.
And then the second one, I heard and I'm like, oh, what am I doing wrong here? So we go back to the hotel room that we're staying in that night. And I was like, you need to give me a crash course on the culture here, because I was not expecting that.
Oh, you didn't know? because like I'm thinking with male cousins that I have, like Felipe. How do you greet him normally?
Hug. I just give him a hug.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But
yeah, then I don't know why. This was new information.
So anyway, that's
cultural too.
Yeah.
But I think it reminded me of that because it is very family based, very, very just like loving culture, and I love that so much.
Yeah.
I think too something we recognized, and so we went for my cousin's wedding, which was seriously one of the best weddings I've ever been to.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it was amazing, but. Oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I think people are very like hype people. Like they're really hype for you.
At the wedding, you mean?
At the wedding. And I think maybe like at large, like they're hype for your ideas. They're really, I don't know. They just like things that I think like, oh, I love this. But if I were to try to implement this in the US, people would be like,
what are you
ew.
thinking? What are you thinking? Ew.
Yeah, like just judgy. I think it feels less judgy maybe. Okay, so like at this wedding, they had temporary tattoos, and they also had jewels for like girls' faces, like just for fun, like doing stuff like that.
You should say the temporary tattoos were of the bride and groom.
Yeah, it was custom.
It was custom sticker
of
tattoos.
Their faces. Like, it was awesome. And I just think like if we were like, oh, we want to do this, people would not have been as hyped for it. Or another thing they did is to raise money for the honeymoon, they auctioned off a bottle of wine, and it was like per table of the like reception. And again, like I feel like I could just see if we were to do something, which we wouldn't because we don't really drink, but like if we were to do something like that, I feel like everybody would have been like crickets, not saying anything.
We already gave you money in the card.
Yes.
Why are you trying to
But like
this?
People were so hyped. Like they were shouting from the tables, like going higher, higher, higher. There was one, it was like 300. Like people were really going for it.
The MC was auctioning like 40 going once, going twice. Oh, 50 going once, going
just
twice.
People are really hyped for you. It just was really awesome. Yeah. And so I think that just speaks to like people really like loving family hype people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt that way too at the wedding. Like everyone was just so hype. So for everything.
Yeah.
For every activity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
It was fun. Maybe
So-
they're just like really, they also are in that like nightlife party hard culture too. So maybe it's that also.
Speaking of wine,
Dun, dun, dun.
in our alcohol episode many moons ago, we mentioned...
I'll link that in the show notes. It's called Why We Don't Drink, I think.
Why
is
we
what
don't
it's
drink. Well, spoiler alert. We drank.
In the episode, we talk about how we do not drink regularly at all, but
We
once in a
mentioned-
while, we did mention, like, if there's a special occasion, not even rarely then, but like if there's kind of this once in a lifetime opportunity, then like maybe we will. Argentina is very well known for its wine.
Well, in the episode, we mentioned we're going to Argentina,
Yeah.
so we'll probably have some wine down there.
And we did.
We did. We went to a winery.
Mm-hmm. Very cool experience.
It's first of all, like the landscape is so cool because you have these huge vineyards, and it's just green and lush. And then they take you, I didn't understand a word of it because it was all in Spanish, but they take you through how they process it and everything. And I was telling you, like, it's just like a very ancient, very old, it's just a very old drink. Like, it just makes you think back to biblical times, or I don't know. Like,
yeah.
this is like a very, I don't even know. Like, it feels weighty, compared to other alcohols. Like, wine just feels like more like there's more substance, there's more history to it. But yeah, very well known for their wines. Someone in my family likes wine too, so we brought them a bottle. We bought a couple bottles, but for people in the family to bring back. But it was a
really cool experience. I think too, just the history of it. Also, it is in Patagonia, so it's just like a very cool landscape area. And so when they were actually making the winery and doing, like digging up stuff, they found a lot of fossils from dinosaurs. So they had replicas of basically these massive bones that ended up actually being the bones of a child dinosaur. So I can't even imagine the size of an adult one. But anyway, that was really cool too.
Yeah, they named the wine Saurus after, how do you say it in Spanish?
Dinosaurio? Dinosaurio, yeah.
Yeah.
Sauro. I don't know.
Saurus?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
That was really cool.
It was a cool time. And it's very much part of the culture, wine down there. And I guess just because it's like they grow the best wine and one of the best wines in the world.
Yeah.
And the wine that they're known for pairs very well, apparently, with asado, like the meat,
which
the
they're
steak.
also very known for.
So it makes sense that they just those two go together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we also went to, I'm just trying to think of other things in the recap, like very cool places. You went rafting and hiking.
Yeah.
We went to this place called Valle de la Luna, which is Valley of the Moon. And it literally looks like you're on Mars. It's so crazy. I did post photos, so go and check those out on Instagram.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, the geography of it is very interesting because you have the Andes Mountains kind of forming the boundary between Chile and Argentina. And that soaks up all the precipitation from the Pacific Ocean. So it's very dry in Argentina. Like on the other side of the mountains where Argentina is, it's just desert. Except for this valley where the rivers are, which is where all the towns are in this region. And that's lush and green and where all the vineyards and stuff are. So yeah, it's a very interesting landscape. Like you can drive half an hour and just be in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
But then another half an hour one way is like you're in this Garden of Eden.
It's funny too because you're driving down like a main road and on one side it's desert and the other side is lush. Like it's very cool.
Yeah, that was cool. One other thing, speaking of the wedding, was your cousin very graciously and kindly asked me to sing at the wedding. So my band, shameless plug, Poodle Come Back.
Yeah, their one song, Sweet Mercy, is on our Christian music playlist.
Yes. I think it's Frankie Valli is the original artist, sings Can't Take My Eyes Off You. You're just too good to be true. That song. And he asked me if I wanted to sing it at the wedding. And I was like, oh my gosh, of course. And I was nervous about it because like
You're singing at a wedding, like yeah.
And then I got strep throat, and it was
major.
extremely painful just to swallow. Was like excruciating pain. But praise God that her uncle, your cousin's father, is a doctor. And so we went down to his clinic in the middle of the day, and there was all these people, and we're trying to navigate in Spanish. And Meg comes up to the receptionist.
Okay, we didn't have to out me on this.
I will say, speaking your second language under pressure, very hard to
Very
do.
hard.
So I give a lot of credit, because I can't really, like, I would sound, you sound like convincing, except for this one part. But so you asked, like, we're here for Roberto, Doctor Roberto, or Doctor whatever. And you're like, we're his grandkids.
Yeah. Which would have been crazy.
Which would have been, if you do the math, crazy.
Yeah.
But then I think you correct and you're like sobrinos, which is, nephews, nieces. But anyway, praise God. Like that was, if he was, I don't know what we would have done, because he gave me antibiotics, and then within 24 hours I was feeling better, but it was so painful. Anyway, long story short, I didn't end up singing at the wedding. So lo siento, primo. But anyway, beautiful wedding, beautiful day. Yeah.
It seriously was one of the best weddings I've ever been to. I have one last thing for the recap. Do you have other stuff?
No, I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So in Buenos Aires, we went on the first like full day that we were there. We did a tour, like a bus tour of the city, and you can get off and on at any time you want. It's like, it runs, there's like several of them that run all day. There's a lot that run all day long, and you can just hop on, hop off if you have a ticket. And so we did that, and it was very cool. And on one of the buses, actually, so we have hopped off, and we realize, and it's chillier and it's rainy.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a windy, rainy, cold day.
We realized that we don't have our baby's sweatshirt. And I was like, oh, like, we must have forgotten it somewhere. It must have fell maybe. Like, we had several things that we were holding. Maybe it just fell. And we had gotten off at this point. And then it was pouring rain. And we're trying to catch a bus, and there are like literally 3 or 4 that we have missed at this point that have gone by.
I was going to say, we were running
to get these buses.
To catch a bus, went by. Mm-hmm. And then you don't know the next one when it's coming, or like maybe is it faster to go to another stop instead of waiting at this one to catch the next one.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we missed 3 or 4 of these different buses. Again, there's several going around the city, and we finally get on one. We go up into it, and the sweatshirt is there. It was where we had gotten on. It was a bus, I guess, that we had used before. It was the
same one that we had. Yeah. Or one of the same ones.
And it was so crazy, because it's like, what are the odds that we would have gone on that same exact bus? Especially in attempting to get other buses. And there are just so many buses that do this tour. So it just really felt like a cool little God wink. And I thought that was really just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on my seat, so obviously I had forgotten. But no, it was a cool little God moment.
Yeah.
It's funny. Up until that point, I had a jacket, and he was in my jacket, zipped up with his head poking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the sweater.
I just thought that was a cute thing to share. Praise the Lord. Yeah. I love when those little things happen, and we've talked about it before, but like praying for parking spots, and it happens to be front row, things like that, where it really is just like, the Lord, I feel like, is showing you I'm really a part of your day. I'm involved, and I, seek me, pray to me. Like I'm here in the big things and the little things.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool.
That's
Argentina. Beautiful people, beautiful country. Obviously, it gave me a beautiful wife. Sort of, right? From your parents.
Oh, you were saying like sort of beautiful. I was like, okay.
No, the most beautiful woman in the world. But yeah, it was a great time. And I definitely want to go back, because there's so much that we didn't get a chance to do. So hopefully in the future,
we get to go again.
We'll get to go again.
Yeah.
But
awesome. Well, let's transition to this next section, which is just talking about Easter.
Yep.
Easter, depending on when you're listening to this episode, is coming up. It's this upcoming Sunday, which is so crazy that it's already that time of the year. It's just so wild.
It's a different time every year, right? I feel like Easter is not...
Well, it's always Like in the spring.
Well, sometimes it's in March.
Yes.
Sometimes it's in. I can never
April.
keep track of when it's happening.
Me neither. I feel like it's always late or early. We're always saying like, oh, it's late this year. Oh, it's
Right.
early. It's like, I don't know when it's supposed
What's
to be
the
on
normal
time. But yeah, it just feels crazy though that it's like spring, like
Yeah.
full speed ahead.
I think
We're here.
the Argentina trip kind of messed up because it's fall down there, so it kind of messed up our
Maybe
time perception.
Yeah. But it is Easter. And I just think transparently, I've been feeling a little bit in a funk. And like I said, too, just with travel, I didn't really prepare a whole Easter episode. But it has been a cool time in just thinking about Easter. Yesterday was I was going to say Passover Sunday. It was Palm Sunday. It's been cool to really dwell more on and think more of the Lord and everything that he has done, and just to really sit with that and be thankful for that. And I just kind of wanted to read some things that I feel like the Lord has been, well, some things that I think I just wanted to share is like basic Easter encouragement, and then one thing specifically that I feel like the Lord has been reminding me of in this Easter season. If that's
Go
cool.
for it.
Yeah. Okay, so of course, Easter, we are celebrating Jesus, mainly his resurrection, but his death and resurrection and what that means. And I think it's so cool because, so often one of the truths I have here is that there is hope beyond the grave. And that's so massive, is that we do have hope beyond the grave, that we have the hope of seeing our loved ones after this earth, and that death has been conquered. And that's just such a, oh my gosh, miraculous, impossible truth that is true, and it is real. And that's something we celebrate. But there's also so many things too that come along with his death and resurrection that I think are so powerful. We do have hope beyond the grave, but we also have forgiveness of sin, which is so unbelievable. And really, we have hope beyond the grave because we have forgiveness of sin, and because the Lord forgives us and accepts us. But two, in Jesus conquering death and conquering sin, we also have freedom from sin, which is so powerful. And it's just amazing to, I think, dwell on all of those things. We have forgiveness, we have freedom, we have hope, all wrapped up in this amazing, miraculous thing that happened 2,000 years ago, where Jesus so selflessly gave his life and took the punishment for everything that we have ever done, everything that we ever do, for every single person who has ever lived and will live in the future. And then he conquered that and rose again. Like, so powerful. I just think that's really awesome. So just, like some cool things to dwell on. But one thing specifically that the Lord, I think, has been reminding me of, and I said this really briefly, but I do feel like I've been in a funk lately. And so it just has been really beautiful to think about the truth that the Lord's love reaches all the way for us. It goes the full distance for us. He is not holding back. And so maybe if you're in a funk too, this is just little tiny, it's literally 2 sentences, but just what I wrote, I'm just going to read it directly. That God's love reaches all the way to me. He is not holding back. He is all in on his love for me. He showed it throughout history, especially 2,000 years ago on the cross, and it is still true today. So I think sometimes we can kind of feel maybe like we're in a funk, or maybe you're in a place where you feel like, oh, I've really messed up, but I love Jesus, I'm a Christian, but I just, I'm not where I should be. Or maybe you feel like, no, I am right on track, and I feel like I'm doing great in my relationship with the Lord. I think in any of those places, it can be a really sweet reminder that the Lord is not holding back from us at all, that he is all in on us. He's all in on us. He's all in on me and on you. And I just think that's really a beautiful reminder. And he literally gave everything for us. And I know I can think sometimes that he's just shaking his head, annoyed or whatever, like, oh, she missed this like time with me this morning, eye roll. But he is so in love with us and has given everything, and he's constantly reaching out his hand. And I just feel like the Lord's been reminding me of that, even with that little sweatshirt God wink, where it's like, I'm in, like, I'm involved in your life and I'm part of your day. And yeah,
that's beautiful. It always surprised me that Easter felt like a smaller holiday than some of the other,
Yeah.
like, you know, Christian ones. Like Christmas, like it seems like the biggest holiday of the year, which is huge. You know, God came down as man, as a baby, but this seems like
Yeah.
like,
This is the big deal.
this is the big deal. This is
Yeah.
why he came. This is like to redeem us, to die on the cross, take our sins on himself, pay that debt, and rise again. And so yeah, I don't know. Every year it just feels like a smaller, like Easter Sunday. I don't know, but it feels like so the meaning behind it and just what it means for our lives. It just seems so huge and all encompassing. So yeah, a lot more weightier, I feel like, than sometimes our culture makes it
Yeah.
out to be with like the Easter Bunny or whatever, you know, like there's there's that. But yeah, I'm totally on track with everything you said.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do agree. I feel like it does feel lighter than other holidays. Um,
I don't know. Yeah.
but I do feel like it should be
It
the
should
biggest
be.
one.
It should, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like it
Yeah.
should be the biggest one.
It's
I don't know why.
majorly significant. Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't. I don't know who's in charge of holidays.
Yeah. The hypeness level.
Yeah.
The PR team on Easter needs
Yeah.
to get
PR
going.
team needs to step up.
No, but yeah, it's just as huge. So I guess too, all the more so, like, I'm assuming if you're listening to this that you're a Christian, and so share it all the more. Like maybe it's, you know, something that the Lord is speaking to you about. Maybe it's just the Easter story, like the actual death and resurrection of Jesus. Like post these things, text your friends, talk about it with your coworkers.
It's a good time to invite people to church.
It's
I was just
a
thinking.
great time. Yeah.
It's like Christmas and Easter are the two times people go to church.
Yeah, and it's powerful services usually too. Not that every service can be powerful, but like, you know,
Yeah, it's like the core of the gospel.
it really is. So it's like most explicitly explained. Explicitly, is that the right word?
Explicitly explained.
Yeah. So yeah, invite people out. Yeah, and I hope that was encouraging. On Instagram, I'm doing 7 truths for Holy Week. And it's not tied to like, you know, Palm Sunday and Good Friday. Like it's not tied to the days necessarily, but just different truths. And so if you're looking for extra encouragement this week, that is a place to go or share or whatever. But yeah, happy Easter. He is risen. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Risen indeed.
So he is risen indeed. Yeah, that's the phrase. He
No,
is
no, no.
risen.
And then he's risen indeed.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah.
It really is like so miraculous. Wow.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But
Awesome.
yeah.
Friends, well, thank you for listening to the She Lives Purposely podcast. Happy Easter. I hope that this was an encouragement for you in our Easter chat, but also in just maybe talking about hospitality and how God, you know, the little God winks and all the different things. So I hope, yeah, like I said, this was an encouragement. Feel free to share this episode with your friends, to rate and review the show. Yeah, thanks for being here. I love you so much. Live purposefully and live for Jesus. See ya.
See ya.